Have you ever felt a spark of excitement when you received a kind message from someone new? Maybe it was a thoughtful note or a friendly chat that made you feel seen and appreciated. It's natural to enjoy connecting with others, especially during times when life feels quiet or lonely. But what if that connection isn't as genuine as it seems? Unfortunately, there are people out there who prey on kindness and trust, particularly targeting seniors through romance scams. These scammers can be incredibly convincing, but here's the good news: you don't have to fall victim to their tricks. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 red flags that can help you spot a romance scam before it goes too far. These aren't just warnings, they're tools you can use to protect yourself and your loved ones from emotional and financial harm. By the end of this conversation, you'll feel more confident in recognizing the signs of a scam and knowing exactly what to do if you encounter one. So, let's dive in and start with the first red flag. The first thing to watch out for is how quickly the relationship moves. If someone you've just met online or over the phone starts showering you with affection and declaring deep feelings within days or even hours, it's a major warning sign. Scammers often try to create an intense emotional connection right away because it makes their target more likely to trust them. They might call you darling or soulmate early on, even though you barely know each other. While it's nice to feel valued, this kind of rapid escalation isn't normal in real relationships. If you find yourself in this situation, take a step back and ask yourself, does this feel too good to be true? Real connections take time to develop. There's no rush when it comes to building trust and understanding. If the person pushes you to commit emotionally before you're ready, that's a clear indication something isn't right. Trust your instincts. If it feels forced or overwhelming, it probably is. Now, let's move on to the second red flag: requests for money or financial assistance. This is one of the most common tactics used by romance scammers, and it's heartbreaking because it exploits not just your emotions, but also your generosity. At some point in the conversation, the scammer will come up with a sob story about why they need money urgently. Maybe they claim to have medical bills, legal troubles, or travel expenses preventing them from visiting you. Whatever the excuse, their goal is the same: to get you to send cash or gift cards. Here's the truth: anyone who truly cares about you won't ask for money under these circumstances. If someone you've met online suddenly needs financial help, pause and think critically. Ask yourself whether you'd give money to a stranger in person. If the answer is no, then don't do it online either. A real romantic partner would never put you in a position where you feel pressured or uncomfortable about finances. If money becomes part of the conversation, it's time to walk away. The third red flag links into something many scammers rely on: avoiding face-to-face meetings or video calls. Let's say you've been chatting with someone for weeks or even months, and they always have an excuse for why they can't meet in person or hop on a video call. Maybe they claim to be traveling, working abroad, or dealing with personal issues that make it impossible. While there are legitimate reasons someone might delay meeting, consistent avoidance should raise alarms. Think about it. In a genuine relationship, people want to see each other and share experiences, whether in person or virtually. Scammers avoid video calls and in-person meetings because they know their lies won't hold up under scrutiny. If the person you're talking to keeps dodging opportunities to connect face-to-face, it's a strong sign they're hiding something. Don't be afraid to gently press them on this. If they're truly interested in you, they'll understand your curiosity. And if they react defensively or continue making excuses, that's all the confirmation you need. Now that we've covered how quickly the relationship moves, requests for money, and avoidance of face-to-face contact, we're ready to talk about the next set of red flags. These upcoming points will build on what we've already discussed, giving you even more tools to identify and protect yourself from romance scams. Stick with me, because understanding these signals could save you from unnecessary heartache and potentially serious consequences. Let's keep going together. The fourth red flag is one that often goes unnoticed, but is incredibly telling: inconsistencies in their stories or personal details. Scammers aren't always great at keeping their lies straight, and over time, you might notice contradictions in what they say about themselves. For example, they might mention living in one country during one conversation, and then casually reference being from somewhere else entirely in the next. Or perhaps they claim to have a certain job, but their descriptions of it don't add up, like saying they're a doctor, but not knowing basic medical terms. These little inconsistencies are clues that something isn't right. Real people don't usually forget where they live or change key details about their lives without explanation. If you start noticing these discrepancies, pay close attention and ask follow-up questions. A real person will clarify or correct themselves if they've made a mistake, but a scammer might get defensive or try to redirect the conversation. Trust your gut. If their story feels shaky or unreliable, it's time to step back and reassess the situation. Now, let's talk about the fifth red flag: pressure to keep the relationship private. Scammers often try to isolate their targets by encouraging them to keep the connection a secret from friends and family. They might say things like, "Our love is so special, it's just between us," or "I don't want anyone to misunderstand our bond." This tactic is designed to cut you off from people who could spot the warning signs and warn you before it's too late. Here's the thing: healthy relationships thrive on openness and support from loved ones. There's nothing wrong with sharing your happiness with family or close friends. It's actually a sign of trust and confidence in the relationship. If someone is pushing you to hide the connection, that's a huge red flag. Instead of giving in to their demands, take a moment to reflect. Why wouldn't they want you to share your joy with others? Chances are they're trying to manipulate you into staying isolated so they can maintain control. Don't be afraid to reach out to someone you trust and share what's going on. They might see patterns you haven't noticed yet. Finally, let's discuss the sixth and final red flag: promises of future plans that never materialize. Scammers love to dangle hope in front of their targets, making grand plans for the future while constantly postponing them. They might talk about moving in together, traveling the world as a couple, or even getting married, but there's always some obstacle standing in the way. Maybe they suddenly need more money to finalize travel arrangements, or an unexpected emergency keeps them from following through on their promises. While dreaming about the future is part of any meaningful relationship, actions speak louder than words. If someone repeatedly makes plans that never happen, or uses those plans as a way to extract money or favors, it's a clear sign they're not genuine. Real partners work toward shared goals together. Scammers only talk about dreams to keep you hooked emotionally and financially. If you find yourself waiting endlessly for promises that never come true, it's time to reevaluate whether this person truly has your best interests at heart. Now that we've covered all 6 red flags, quickly the relationship moves: requests for money, avoidance of face-to-face contact, inconsistencies in their stories, pressure to keep things private, and empty promises. You're probably starting to see how interconnected these warning signs are. Each one offers valuable insight into identifying a potential scam before it escalates. The key takeaway here is to stay vigilant and trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. So taking extra precautions is always a smart move. I know it might feel overwhelming to think about all the ways scammers try to trick people, but remember, knowledge is power. Start small by sharing what you've learned with friends, family, or neighbors. It could help them avoid falling victim too. Progress, not perfection, is what matters most. Staying informed and prepared gives you the upper hand against anyone trying to take advantage of you. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever encountered someone who exhibited any of these red flags? How did you handle it, and what advice would you give to others? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure your insights will inspire and educate others watching this video too. And if you found this conversation helpful, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to provide practical advice and support to help you live your best life at any age. Every week, we dive into topics like health, wellness, independence, and more, all tailored to you and your needs. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, staying safe doesn't mean living in fear. It means being smart, aware, and proactive. By learning how to spot romance scams, you're taking control of your emotional and financial well-being. Here's to staying sharp, staying strong, and embracing every moment of this incredible chapter of your life. Until next time, take care and keep shining.